Bro, look, Osimhen, Victor, Vicky, Vicio, Vico. I'm gonna call him Vico, Vico, El Vico, Oga Vico. Nigeria have a striker. I'll I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't think Nigeria have had a striker of this quality since maybe Kano. And I think this guy, I because I'm just looking at what he's doing for Nigeria. I'm looking at what he's doing for Lille. I'm looking at this guy's age, and I'm saying to myself that this dude, for me, he the way that this guy is playing, because people say, okay, it's Lesotho, it's this, what can he say? But yeah, I just want to say, so he's going to be 21 next month, 29th of December. Yeah, 29th of December is better. It's going to be 21 next month. So this dude is very young. He's very young. And the way, because for me, and I think, the beauty about it is that he has the goal scoring, but he's got the footballing brain. He's got the footballing awareness. He's got the hustle. He's got that winning mentality. He cares. He knows how to dig in deep. He knows how to grind. And like this is huge because you don't understand how huge this could be for Nigeria and the Super Eagles because Julius Agahoa was supposed to be that dude, but then he ended up just being trash in the end. He was supposed to be that dude. Igalo, I never rated him. I never rated Igalo. Martins was good, but he didn't have a game as complete as Vico. Um, and if you want to argue that Iheanacho is a striker, we now see that the guy is trash. He's a Class B break. Very, very sad and disappointed what has happened to him in his career. And I just think that because Nigeria have suffered a lot, they've suffered a lot, embarrassment upon embarrassment upon embarrassment, and I think there's been such a long time until there's been a strong team that can even say what's up. Like there will never be a greater team than that 990. That's a team of 94 to 998. Those three teams, the 94 World Cup team, 96 Olympic team, and the 98 World Cup team. That is the greatest African team of all time. One of the most talented football teams of all time. I don't care what anyone says. The most talented football teams of all time. But what I am seeing from this group is they're forging their own path. Don't compare them to those other Super Eagles. Don't compare them. They're different. And I think, but see, this is the key. This is my hope. This is my hope. That team was supremely talented, amazingly talented, 100% talented. They were not together. I remember what happened in France 1998. That's why I pretty much semi gave up on really fully caring about the Super Eagles because these players they didn't train properly and they didn't fully prepare themselves before the game. Not every player did so, but I know there were certain players who didn't really take that match against Denmark seriously in '98, and we all know what happened. So ever since then, I was like, you know what, so it's one of the most painful moments in my entire life was that Denmark game in '98. Even if this team is not as talented individually as that team, this team seems much more together. They are closely knit, they're good friends, but it looks like this team, I'm hoping that they look much more professional. And that is the key thing. They look much more professional. Those guys look like if they really care about what they want to do and they listen to the coaches in the instructions. So the excitement is these guys could do something. But I just think, look, Iwobi, Chukeze, these guys are quality. Defensive is holding up really good. And look at the stuff that Indeed is even doing for Leicester City. But I think what Vico represents is Vico, he, because the modern striker is something that has changed how we go forward and how you actually attack. How you go attack. Because remember, this is the spearhead of your attack. So in yesteryear, all he did was okay, cross, and then all he was there for is to finish. But we now have a guy. I mean, did you see that ball that he played for Chuka? It's a great finish by Chuka. But did you see that ball he played for Chuka? That little chip. But what you're now seeing is Vico is doing what made Henri so amazing. which is that I'm a striker. I know how to finish. I know how to shoot. I know how to create the shots for myself, but I know how to control the ball. I know how to bide my time, be aware of runs that are being made to my right and to my left, and can thread the ball through. I can hold the ball up. I can move forward with the ball. I've got a footballing awareness. And once you bring that footballing awareness, that brings in a Chukwueze, that brings in Samuel Moses, that brings in an Iwobi. And look, it's still a process. It's still a process. And look, it doesn't look. Of course, Nigeria should deserve to beat Lesotho. And look, shout out to Lesotho, who actually still made it a game, managed to get two G's, although one was an on goal. So shout out to Lesotho, still trying to make it a game for Nigeria. But I just think, like, despite whatever the opposition is, it's about building. It's about building because Nigeria have always been talented. Let's keep it all the way real. Nigeria have always been talented, and I've always held the belief that the most naturally talented footballers in the world, Brazilians and Nigerians. And if you do your research, um, those people in Brazil originally came from Africa and most likely came from Nigeria. If you do your research, I'm not even do your Googles, do your little Googles. So, and look, I have my view on Gennaro. I want a local coach. I want a Nigerian coach and everything, but he's the coach. He's the manager of the team, and let's just see how he can take and move this team forward and this unit forward. Because, like, I've been preaching about this for a long time, that the quicker that the young boys get introduced, the better. There is no point in waiting because the so-called experienced players are not very good. Obi Mikel, Igalo, even Musa. These guys are sort of they're on their way out. Although I think Musa is important to keep because he's an older member, very well liked, great personality and a great character. So it's good to have him in the squad. And also, he's not a scrub. Okay, he's not garbage. Okay, this guy still brings in some quality into the team. But it's about the future. And what I want to see from this Nigeria team is to bring back that swagger because I believe there is a Nigerian way of playing football. And if that way isn't being played, there's no point. Hence why I always have the trepidation of not wanting a European coach or a non-Nigerian coach because they don't sort of understand. See, the beauty of a Clement Westerhoff and a Bonfred Joe is even if they were Dutch, they were ingrained in Nigerian society and within what they were about. I remember a time I was on the plane one time years ago where I sat next to Clemens Westerhoff's wife, and his wife is Nigerian. So he ain't going more ingrained than that. So my thing about it is that if you're a non-Nigerian coach, you have to understand what the Nigerian way of playing is because there's a very particular way that Nigeria play for football. They don't play football in European way. It's a very particular, unorthodox swagger and style and mannerism and character they bring to the way they interpret their football. So that's what I want. That's what I need. That is what I'm hoping these guys can bring. That's your boy General can bring into this team. And look, for someone like a Chokeze, he's still developing. His game is still raw, but I see potentially, keyword, I see potentially an amazing player there. And remember, we're now living in the world of inside forwards. Nigeria have never really had an amazing inside forward. Superb wingers, when you bring in your boy Finidi George. Actually, sorry, I think Pepe was much more of a striker. But they already had this whole thing of an inside forward, which is this kind of new role, a new position that has pretty much been developed in the last few years. And looking at the stuff that Chokeze has been doing for Villarreal, if he can bring that kind of swagger and that Lara Croft for Nigeria, I think it could be great. And look, Iwobi ain't his uncle because his uncle, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most talented football players of all time. He doesn't have to be his uncle. He can be his own man, and I think that is the beauty and what I want from this team. This team should not be compared to that other team, and even if this team may not be as talented as the other team, they can create their own history and their own legacy. Because those guys, bro, you should have won a World Cup. I'll say it. Those guys, those dudes from 94 to 98, you should have won a Philippine World Cup. You were talented enough to win a World Cup. So that's on you to think about where you fell short. But for these boys, look, man, do like I am excited because I've not been this excited for a Nigeria team, my God, since a very long time. Because you know what the issue has always been? The older guys, and the older guys overstaying their welcome because of how much sway they have in their team. What we're now seeing now is these young players are now forming the very fabric and the very core of the team. Because you know what I really want is something similar to what Germany did in 2010. Go to a World Cup where the core of the team are youth. Obviously, you have your few experienced players here and there, but a core of these guys are these young, hungry guys, even some local boys from under the bridge. If you have that, I think it would be great. So, yeah, man. But El Victor Osimhen, I mean, bro, this guy is a damn good striker. And I'm not sure whether Lille can keep this history because if this guy keeps the way that he's going for Lille this season, because what I want to see, no offense to Lille, what I want to see, look, I'm all for Nigerian players being put at the biggest clubs possible. That's why I was all for Chukwueze going to Barcelona. So if your boy Vico can be picked up by like a Barcelona, Juventus, a Liverpool man, or something, it can be for a big team and can be a starter. That's the key that can be a starter. Bro, man. Like, because let me just there was a time when I know people like to insult Nigerian guys and everything. Amunike was at Barcelona. Finidi George was at Ajax. Then he went to Real Betis when they were quality. Kano was at Inter Milan. Then he went to Arsenal. Babayaro was at Chelsea. There was a time when Nigerian players were in big teams. Hopefully, can see a return to that.